Hello everyone, welcome to YouTube channel of Chameli Devi Institute of Pharmacy. Today we are going to discuss centrifuge. This is part second, and if we talk about the centrifuge, so centrifuges are the device or equipments which are used for separating the particles from a solution according to their size, shape as well as density of the medium. Now comes on contents. The following contents we'll discuss here, like the perforated basket centrifuge, second one is non-perforated basket centrifuge, third one is super centrifuge. So on these centrifuges we will learn about their principle, construction, working as well as their uses. Let's start with perforated basket centrifuge. So if we discuss their principle, here the following points to be considered in the principle. First one is perforated basket centrifuge is a filtration centrifuge. Second one is the separation occurs through a perforated wall which is based on the difference in the densities of the solid and the liquid phases. Third one is the bowl contain a perforated side wall due to the basket of this centrifuge is lined with the filter cloth, so it is known as the perforated basket centrifuge. Fourth one is during the centrifugation the liquid phase passes through the perforated wall while the solid phase is retained in the bowl. Last point is the solid is removed after cutting the sediment by a blade after stopping the centrifugation process. In this slide, we discuss the construction of perforated basket centrifuge. So it is clear from the diagram, the perforated basket centrifuge contain a basket which is made up of stainless steel or any other suitable metal. The diameter of the basket is normally 1 to 2 meter and lined with a filter cloth. The basket is mounted on a shaft which is connected with a motor system. The capacity of the basket is 0.085 meter cube. The power requirement is 3 kilowatt for starting and 2 kilowatt for running. The RPM required for speed for rotation is 1000 RPM. One outlet is provided at the external side of the basket. Now comes on uses of the perforated basket centrifuge. So it is used for removing unwanted solids from liquid. For example, precipitated proteins are removed from insulin. Next, it is used for separating the crystalline drugs like the aspirin from mother liquor. Sugar crystals are also separated using the perforated basket centrifuge. Now comes on working. The following points to be considered in the working process. First one is the material is kept in the basket when the basket is stationary. Then the power is applied to rotate the basket at 1000 revolution per minute. Third one is during centrifugation we observed that the liquid passes through the perforated wall while the solid phase retained in the basket. Fourth one is the liquid leaves the basket and it is collected at the outlet. Last point is, after a definite period of time, the power is turned off and the solid cake, which is deposited at the bottom of the basket, is cut using a blade and then unloaded manually. Some advantages of this centrifuge are it requires a small space for installation and separation efficiency is very high. And if we see the disadvantages of this centrifuge, so its capacity is limited and it is not suitable for hard cake forming solids. In this slide, we discuss the non-perforated basket centrifuge. So, first we discuss the principle. The non-perforated basket centrifuge is a sedimentation centrifuge and the separation is based on the difference in the densities of solid and liquid phases without a porous barrier. The basket or bowl contain a non-perforated side wall. So, during centrifugation, we observe the solid phase is retained on the side wall of the basket while the liquid remains at the top. If we talk about the construction of non-perforated basket centrifuge, the following points to be considered. The non-perforated basket centrifuge contain a basket which may be made up of steel or any other suitable metal. Second one is the basket is suspended on vertical shaft and it is driven by a motor using a suitable power system. Here a tube is also provided for the feed inlet, and on the separation the liquid phase can be separated out using the skimming tubes. Now comes on working. The following steps are followed. First one is the suspension is fed continuously into the basket and allowed the basket for rotation at 1000 rpm. Second one is during centrifugation, what we observed, we found the solid phase which is retained on the sides of the basket while the liquid remains on the top. It is just due to the difference in the densities. The solids have high density, so it is accumulated on the bottom of the basket while the liquid have low density, so it can float on the top. Third point is the liquid is removed over a weir or through a skimming tubes. Fourth one is when a suitable depth of solid has been deposited on the wall of the basket, then the operation is stopped. And last, the deposited solids are then scraped off by hand or using a scraper blade. If we see their uses, so it is useful when the deposited solid offer high resistance to the flow of liquid. So this is all about for the non-perforated basket centrifuge. Here we discuss one more important centrifuge is known as super centrifuge. So super centrifuge is a continuous centrifuge used for separating two immiscible liquid phases. Now comes on principle. The following points to be noted. First one is super centrifuge is a sedimentation centrifuge. Second one is the separation is based on the difference in the densities between two immiscible liquid. Third one is during centrifugation we observe the heavier liquid is thrown against the wall while the lighter liquid remains in the inner layer. Fourth one is the two layers are simultaneously separated using a modified weir system. Now comes on construction of super centrifuge. The following points to be noted here. First one is it consists of a long hollow cylindrical bowl of a small diameter. Second one is it is suspended from a flexible spindle at the top and guided at the bottom loose fit bushing system. Third one is it can rotate it on its longitudinal axis. Next one is the provision is made at the bottom for the feed inlet using a pressure system. The last one is the two liquid outlets are provided at different height at the top of the bowl for simultaneous recovery of the separated liquids using modified weir system. Now comes on working of super centrifuge. So on the working, the following points to be observed. First one is the feed is introduced from the bottom of the centrifuge using a pressure system. Second one is the centrifuge is allowed to rotate on its longitudinal axis at a high frequency, usually about 2000 rpm, with the help of drive assembly. Third one is during centrifugation we found the two liquid phases separated on the basis of difference in their densities. Last, the heavier liquid is thrown against the wall while the lighter liquid forms an inner layer. So both liquids rises to the top of the vertical wall. And last, we discuss their use. So the super centrifuge is used for separating the liquid phases of emulsions in a food and pharmaceuticals.